Welcome back, everybody. You got Specs here, and today we're going to be talking about round one of Woods playoffs for season 11. Well, actually, it's not round one, it's round two, but I got a bye for round one, so it's actually, yeah, okay. Round two, but my first round. And then round. Yeah, that wasn't confusing. Anyway, um, today I am matched up against the Sacramento Sea Kings, aka Kuda, aka. Actually, I don't have any other nickname for him. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So first up, we're just gonna talk about his team overall, and then we're gonna talk about the team I built, then we're gonna go over the battle and all that stuff. You know how it is. It's the usual. So first up, we got Dragon Ball in this team. You know, this guy has Dragon Ball. It's scary. One of the fastest mons in this meta. One of the fastest good mons, I should say. I do have an Gore, but you know it's an Gore, so you know it's not super good. But you know, like Dragon Ball is really good, and it's fast. It's crazy. You know, in Dragon Ball in Draft League as well is a lot more versatile. You know, in OU it's kind of just stuck to specs for the majority of its time, and it hasn't really switched off too much. But you know, Dragon Dance, maybe like Wisp Hex, all that stuff gets a lot more viable in draft leagues because you can tailor the Dragon Ball to the matchup. So yeah, Dragon Dance. Guess I'll go over them. Dragon Dance, D Darts, which is a nice little multi-hitting move. There, it's pretty good move. It's a pretty good move. You know, Steel Wing, to hit fairy types, Phantom Force to, well, as other general stab. If you don't want to run this though, you can always run mixed. So just run like Flamethrower or Fire Blast with Life Orb. Still works pretty well. I already described specs before. You just run Draco Meteor, Shadow Ball, U-Turn, and then your last move is whatever coverage you want. Wisp Hex is also pretty good, or T-Wave Hex is also really good as well. Both statuses are pretty decent for that. And then, yeah, there's also just like other weird stuff you can do. Maybe you can try and run it as a screen setter. It is pretty fast, so it can get screens up pretty good, pretty well. And then also has U-Turn to pivot out, so something like that can be really nice. Yeah. Ghost Dragon's also really good typing, and it also has pretty good abilities as well. All three of them can be useful in any given match of Draft League. Next up, we got Melmetal. This man already has very threatening mons in the first two slots. So Melmetal, obviously, it's basically just known for this move, Double Iron Bash, which is 120 base power without any other boost, and then it has a 51% chance to flinch, because each hit has the 30% chance to flinch. And then it also is boosted by Iron Fist and Stab, so this thing is ridiculously strong. And look at this look at these stats. Like, you're not going to kill this thing in one hit on the defensive side, and even on the SpDef side. Like with that big ass HP, like it's gonna be hard to kill even on the special side. And if you run like an Assault Vest, for example, that would be even better. So yeah, they make it even better on taking hits. Of course, Assault Vest isn't the only set you can run. You can run Choice Band. I've even seen Life Orb, stuff like that. Run it on Trick Room and stuff like that. I don't know if he does have a Trick Room setter, right? So yeah, you could feasibly run like a semi Trick Room team and have some of that. So yeah. In terms of coverage, Double Iron Bash, it gets Thunder and Ice Punch. Also gets Thunder, you know, if you want to use that. But you probably wouldn't be wanting to use that. Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Earthquake, and Superpower. Yeah. Superpower is the main kind of coverage moves. I think it also gets Rock Slide as well. It does get Rock Slide, so yeah, if you're ever fighting Moltres, you can always use that. It also gets Body Press if you want to run something like Acid Armor Body Press. Pretty decent set. Make sure you're unkillable on the physical side. And yeah. Any other steel moves it can use, like it still has really good steel moves, like Jar Ball, Heavy Slam. They're both good moves. Problem is, Double Iron Bash is so good, there's no point in using it. So yeah. Thunder Wave as well is something to mention. Being able to paralyze stuff that is faster than Melmetal is good. It's good. Mana Buzz is up next. Pretty decent mod. You're pretty much always gonna run boots on this Mana Buzz more often than not, just because you don't want to get smacked by rocks on on all that stuff. And then Overcoat is usually the thing you're going to use more often than not. Lets you be immune to power to moves, Sandstorm, Hail, all that stuff. It's really pretty nice. If your opponent doesn't have like Sleep Powder or Hail or Sandstorm or anything like that, you could just run Big Pecs. Like for example, if you're, I don't know, fighting an adaptability Crawdon with Crunch, I guess you don't have to get your defense lowered. I guess that could be nice. I don't know. Weak armor is like reserved more for offensive sets, which Manibus does have, despite its really bad attacking stats. And, it's a nasty plot. It can try something in terms of offenses. I don't know, but more often than not, you're just gonna be using it as a nice defensive pivot with defog support. Defog and U-turn is kind of standard. You can replace foul play with knockoff. You can replace U-turn with other stuff too. Maybe you want Brave Bird 1 week just to really, really solidify your Volcarona matchup, something like that. Really nice. Yeah, that's about it. Maybe you want to throw in Heat Wave just to hit a Ferrothorn pretty hard. I don't know. It's up to the player. Next up, we got Rotom Wash. Personal favorite of mine. Rotom Wash is like, it's so good. It's so good. I loved using it a lot. The last season I was playing. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Leftovers, Scarf, all these type of, I don't know. You can run a lot of items in Rotom and it will work just because it's Rotom. Yeah, so Volt Switch is the main thing you want, and how well. Any other moves can kind of be tailor-made for specific sets. Will-O-Wisp is the most common status move you'll see on a Rotom, other than Toxic, because Will-O-Wisp can burn the ground types that want to switch in on Rotom and stuff like that. Yeah. And then Rotom is just really good because it's able to scare out ground types, and which means it gets a lot of free Volt switches just because, no ground types want to switch into. And even most Volt Absorbers, well, most Volt Absorbers don't have a bad matchup against Rotom, but they still don't want to take a pump. Like, it still does a lot of damage if you're not being careful. So, Rotom Wash is really good because of that. And so it has a lot of opportunity to get a lot of free Volt switches more often than not. Anyway, getting on topic. After Wisp, you can run a lot of things here. You can make this another Defogger. You could use Plane Split to get some sort of recovery. If you're running Scarf, you can try to put Trick on this. And you can also just run some other stronger stab, like Thunderbolt, for your electric stab. Yeah, so kind of up to the user. Next up, we got Arcanine. This thing is pretty good in draft leagues. It's kind of like a low-budget defensive fire type, which is always good to see. In terms of stuff, you got two really good abilities: Intimidate and Flash Fire. The Fire immunity can be really nice in certain matchups, and then Intimidate is also really good in general. Boots, again, probably necessary on Arcanine. Unless your opponent really doesn't bring rocks often, which, spoiler alert, I don't really bring rocks all that often. I don't really have good rock setters, to be fair. But, you should run Boots more often than not. If not, you can just run Leftovers or Helmet. Or if you want to run offensive sets, you can run Life Orb, Choice Band, Choice Scarf, all that stuff. That could be nice. Speaking of sets, in terms of defensive sets, that's the defensive set. You can try to sub out Toxic for Wisp if you really want to try to burn something. And, yeah. Flamethrower is usually what you want to run. Like, you want to run, like, special moves on these stats, because if you run something like Flare Blitz, you're kind of hurting yourself defensively, because you're losing HP trying to kill things, but, it can definitely still work. Yeah. In terms of offensive sets, you already saw Flare Blitz, and then you also get Wild Charge that can hit water types. Extreme Speed is really good priority, and Close Combat is also good coverage as well. Unfortunately, this thing does not get Earthquake, so that sucks for that. That sucks for it. You do have Scorching Sands if you want to try to run a special set. I don't know, Fire Blast, Scorching Sands, two other moves, I don't know. Also gets Play Rough if you want to hit, Play Rough and Outrage if you want to hit Dragon types. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Next up we got Torterra, my favorite starter. I'm glad it has been drafted. In terms of sets, there's like two main ones Torterra can run. My personal favorite one is Double Dance. So Swords Dance, it gets Rock Polish, and then you kind of just run Earthquake and then Woodhammer. You just run stabs. You can sub this out for Stone Edge. I've done this before. It works pretty good. I use this a lot in like Gen 7 NU, and it actually works pretty well. And because like most people assume, the reason why you can sub out Woodhammer is because most people assume you have Woodhammer, so unless you reveal it, they're not gonna tell, right? Like as long as you like don't reveal all of your other moves, people will be interested, right? They won't know, maybe. Overgrow is it's good. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to think of why you would use Overgrow over Shell Armor or the other way around. Well, I mean, Shell Armor prevents crits, which can be really nice. If you're fighting like well, I was gonna say your Shufu Rapid, but Torterra doesn't resist water, so probably not the best idea, regardless of this thing switching in. Overgrow's probably better overall then. But you know, having that way to just not be crit guaranteed is also really nice. Anyway, the defensive set, right? Before I go any further, this thing does get Stealth Rock, so it could be a nice rock setter. I don't know, Earthquake, Synthesis. It gets Leech Seed. It gets curses. Well, curses you probably want to use on a defensive set, but offensively it can actually work as well. You can run like Curse, Earthquake, Wood Hammer, and Synthesis. Something like that can work pretty well. Depending on the matchup, of course. And yeah, maybe Toxic. Maybe sub that out for Wood Hammer. I don't know. It's not super good. Torterra's not super good, unfortunately, but you know it has a lot of interesting properties. You know, so yeah. Like for example, it's like a ground type that isn't weak to grass, so that makes it better against something like Coco. I don't know. And moving on. Anyway, we got Hatterene here. Never gonna run anything besides Magic Bounce on this mon. And then in terms of moves and sets, the first set that comes to mind for me is the Calm Mind 3 attack variant. So you know, Calm Mind, Size Shock, Draining Kiss, and Mystical Fire. This set is pretty good. It does have issues though. If you basically, you know, you don't have a lot of HP and defense, so you could be overwhelmed on the physical side before you can set up too much. Other than that, though, it's still pretty good. It is also really slow, so you know a lot of things can outspeed you, and that cannot be good depending on the situation. It also can be good depending on the situation, because like you get hit by something and then you get the draining kiss that thing and then get all your health back. Like that could be nice, but you know more often than not, yeah, it's not fun. Being slower than everything else. But yeah, the other set this can run Trick Room as well, and keep the same moves honestly. Although you probably want to switch out this for Dazzling Gleam or something, and then throw in a Life Orb for that. Yeah, I don't know. This could work pretty well as a self Trick Room abuser. Other moves, it does get a lot of utility. So there's already Aromatherapy, but it also gets stuff like Puzzle, which is really nice, and that's about it. I mean, okay, no. But actually, no, that is pretty much about it. Aromatherapy and Nuzzle and Trick Room are like the main things for its utility, at least. Yeah. Oh yeah, it also gets Healing Wish, which is pretty nice on said Trick Room variants if you want to not abuse the Trick Room yourself. So Healing Wish is always really nice, and yeah. Okay, next up we got Lycanroc. These all suck. I don't know, run Steadfast, I guess, just in case someone brings a fake out on. But yeah, Lycanroc is pretty strong and pretty fast and does all the things. You know. Stab priority rock moves in a Cell Rock is really nice. Especially for something like a Volcarona, for example, which means like as long as you keep this thing alive, Volcarona can't sweep because this is always going to exist. This also gets access to Swords Dance, making it really strong. It has pretty good coverage in like close combat and Drill Run, Psychic Feigns, Crunch, all that stuff. It makes it really good. Unfortunately, it's always overshadowed by Dusk, Lycanroc Dusk form now, because, you know, while it is, I think, a little... I don't know if it's slower or not. Let me check. Okay, yeah, so Lycanroc Dusk is slower, which, you know, is a problem. And it's only a little bit stronger, but it has Tough Claws. And Tough Claws makes it way better than Lycanroc Regular, just because you have that 1.3 times boost. A Cell Rock gets boosted by Tough Claws, Close Combat gets boosted by Tough Claws, everything gets boosted by Tough Claws except for like Stone Edge, which honestly, if you're in Lycanroc, you don't honestly run all that often. At least in UU, I'm pretty sure like they don't always run it for sure, because like you just have a Cell Rock and that's already strong enough. So yeah, kind of crap. Anyway, moving on. Oh yeah, wait, before I go, one more set you can try to run. You can just run a nice Rock Sleeve. You do have access to Self Rock and Taunt, which makes it pretty good at setting hazards and kind of setting the tempo in the initial game. And then you also have access to Endeavor, which can help. Like if you run a Sash, you know, let's say you're fighting I I don't know, fighting something faster than you, it brings it out of your stash, you set up rock. Wait, no, wait. No, you're fighting something faster. You're faster. You set up rocks, they bring you down to stash, you can endeavor it, and then now they're at 1 health, and you got up rocks, and you have basically a 5-5 lead. Because the other mon's at 1 health, so you know what I mean. If they don't have a good defogger at the back, you know, they're probably not going to be able to be of any use, and you can send in something for revenge kill. Yeah, anyway. Next up we got Pincer. The thing's mad strong. It's kind of crazy. With Aerial Aid, it's really strong. Fortunately for me, and unfortunately for it has no return in this draft league, so he will have to rely on something like Body Slam, or rely on Recoil with Double Edge. So that's pretty good. Other than that, though, it's still really, really strong. A Double Edge, Quick Attack, and Close Combat or Earthquake kind of round out that set. And there's, yeah, that's it. You don't really run anything else in Pincer. It's literally just Swords Dance, Flying Stab, Flying Priority Stab, and then either CC or Earthquake to deal with any sort of coverage issues. Because this thing's ridiculously strong. You don't really need anything else on this. Yeah. Also has a pretty good speed tier. 105 is good for outspeeding base 100s. Marsh Stomp. It's here. It is a thing, I guess. I don't know what to say. You know, you run an EV light on it. You run, I don't know, rocks. I guess you can just. It doesn't even get flip turn. Never mind. Never mind. You can't use it as much as Swampert because it can't be much as Swampert. I don't know. Stealth Frog, Yawn, EQ. Right, I don't know what you run on this. Why would you run this? This looks weird. It's Marsh Stomp. Just use Swampert. That's amazing. I mean, I know why it's Marsh Stomp and not Swampert because it costs like less points. Still weird though. And then that's not his team. So yeah, covered his team pretty well, and also good into my team. Basically, we're running a nice little ball, Swords Dance, Play Rub, Brick Break, and Sucker Punch. The speed is just to really it was just for speed creeping. I just ran a shit ton of speed in order to make sure I can outspeed that Melmetal. And then, you know, rest into HP on attacks. Pretty standard. Next up we got Zygarde. Got that complicated ass spread. Don't worry about it. Well, I can explain it, but first up. Coil Substitute, 1000 Air Scale Shot. It's pretty, I've run this before. It's pretty self-explanatory. But anyway, in terms of this, so with this HP, attack, and defense investment, I will always take a foul play behind a sub from a Mana Buzz. And then with the speed, after 1 Scale Shot boost, I'll be faster than Modest Dragon Pulse. So, yeah, that's basically it. Next up, we got Tapu Bulu. I just ran a nice Sword Stance 3 attack variant with Life Orb, and it's just basically max attack, max speed. Just gave it a little bit of HP for no reason at all. But yeah, Horn Leech is for Stab, Stone Edge is for Arcanine and Mana Buzz, Close Combat is for Melmetal. Pretty self-explanatory. Next up, we got Slow King Galar. Kind of just ran a Black Sludge. I'm running another Mega Sweep Slow King, basically. You know, Calm Mind, Iron Defense is, you know, they're just for boost or power, and then just be unkillable, and then Slack Off is recovery. I'm running a lot of speed, again, just to really outspeed the Melmetal. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Next up, we got Entei. It's basically a nice little sub-protect pressure stalling Entei. Because, you know, he has, like, Melmetal, he has Melmetal, he has Road and Wash. They both have low PP moves. So I figured I can sub and protect and just stall out all those dumb moves because they're dumb and stupid. Yeah, Toxic's there just to poison stuff like Road and Wash, and maybe the Arcanine, and the Lava Flume is just to maybe try to burn Melmetal, stuff like that. It threatens Melmetal pretty well too, just like it's a nice 2-hit KO. Yeah. The last up we got Wigglytuff because he brought a Dragon Ball, so I have to bring Wigglytuff. Just a nice Wish Protect set with Dazzling Gleam for stab, and then Teleport just yeah, get out. This spread did something. It's something about Dragon Ball. It's like I live +1 Steel Wing something, and then also don't get 3-hit KO'd by anything from specs sets. I don't know. I don't remember the exact details, but yeah, it was something along those lines. Anyway, let's move on to the replay. I'm just gonna switch to this group. Okay. So basically, fun. He basically brought everything I expected. Oh, I didn't even go over what I expected to bring. But, like, you know, he was obviously going to bring Dragon Ball, Melmetal, Arcanine, and Rotom. I didn't think he was not going to bring anything else. Pinsir was almost guaranteed as well, and so that basically left a slot open for one of Hatterene, Mandibuzz, or Lycanroc. Of the three, I thought, honestly, Lycanroc was the one to come out, because it does have coverage to beat its Resist. So it does have Drill Run and Play Rough to beat Mawile and Zygarde. So if you're on, like, Life Orb or something, you could just, like, go off really easily. But he did decide to bring Hatterene as well. If he brought Mandibuzz, that would have been hard for my Slowking, but, like, yeah, I think most of my team deals with Mandibuzz pretty well anyway, so I wasn't too worried if it came. But yeah, in terms of my lead here, I was like, basically, I was expecting either Rotom, Arcanine, or Dragapult to lead. Oh, no, sorry, not Arcanine. Rotom, Pinsir, or Dragapult to lead. Basically, my thought process here was like, I don't want Pinsir to do anything without my Entei in front of it, because I don't want to get up a Sword Stance. Which my Entei is also built to beat the Pinsir as well. Because, well, it doesn't beat it, but it can check it, kind of, a little bit. Maybe I get a Lucky Burn, that's what that kind of was the hope. But yeah. If you go Dragapult or Rotom, I do have pretty solid switch-ins to those. I don't have solid switch-ins to Pinsir. So I just have to kind of go, I'm kind of forced to go Entei here. Don't want to accidentally give this Pinsir a Swords Dance and then immediately sweep me. So yeah. Hatterene comes out as my Entei comes in. If I was regular Entei, this would be a perfect time to fire off just like any sort of move, but I don't want to risk this Hatterene starting to Calm Mind setup sweep, so I just decided to go Slowking immediately. So if it goes go for Calm Mind, I can set up with it. He just go for Arcanine here. I'm just gonna switch out again back into my Entei because that's the thing that deals with Arcanine. He goes for the Teleport, goes into Dragon Ball here. Well, I have a Wigglytuff. That's the main thing my Wigglytuff's for. I honestly could have just stayed in on this U-turn. I was thinking about it, but I also didn't want to risk it being Dragon Dance. So if it was Dragon Dance, if it was Dragon Dance, my Entei can't touch it at all. So I don't want it to give it free setup turns. So I was like, whatever, I just have to go Wigglytuff here anyways. Let's go for the U-turn. Out comes the Melmetal. I'm like, whatever. I just go hard Entei here. I didn't want to risk it, this thing being Substitute or something crazy. So I was like, I'll go hard Entei here, just make sure. Just go for Double Iron Bash. I already stole one extra of his PP. That's really nice. And then I just go for the Substitute here. I figured he wouldn't stay in because he doesn't know what the Entei can do. So, yeah. I just go for a nice Toxic here as he hard doubles into Rotom. And here comes the PP stalling. Hell yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna skip through it, but it's just a bunch of PP stalling. I'm just spamming Substitute and Protect. And then he goes for Volt Switch here on what would have been his last Hydro Pump if he used it. It goes into Hatterene. Let's go for another sub. Again, still don't know what this Hatterene does, so I'm gonna hard switch out into Slowking. Don't want to risk anything. Goes for Dazzling Gleam there. He must have went for it because he didn't have anything to hit my Entei, because Dazzling Gleam would have broken my sub. So yeah, I was kind of intrigued why he did that. So anyway, Hatterene, goes for the Dazzling Gleam, whatever. Just go for the setup now because I was like, fuck it, let's just go for it. I go for Iron Defense, and then I go for Calm Mind. I go for Calm Mind on his Pain Split, and he goes for the Volt Switch. As I go for my Recover, I'm just decided to set up more, because why not? And then he goes for the Thunder Wave, which pretty bad. Because now my Slowking's slower than the Melmetal, so that's kind of sucky. If he didn't have Thunder Wave though, that was literally game at that point, outside of crits, because now his main game plan is just to flinch me. I was like, whatever, if he tries to flinch me, whatever. I'm gonna test the waters a little bit and see if I can get anything off. He goes for Double Iron Bash, immediately crits me, so fun. I was like, okay, well, I can still recover if I get through the flinch and the paras, but, I don't. So that's fun. And I was like, well, this is bad. And here's where I make my first mistake. So, Entei here was a bad idea, because I need Entei for the rest of this game. I should have just sacked the Slowking, in all honesty, but I was, basically, at this point, I was kind of a little tilted from the first crit. So, yeah, I decided to go to Entei here. It was a bad idea. He does decide to go for the ground move here and knock on my Entei. So that was really bad. Yeah, I needed that Entei. So sacking Slowking there was the correct play. If I wanted to be really spicy though, I could have gone something like Tapu Bulu or yeah, Tapu Bulu. But yeah, you know that's not a play you usually have to make. So yeah, and Sacking Entei was a really bad idea. But I'm like, whatever. I still have Mobile. I'm just gonna go for Brick Break. It is a nice solid 2-hit KO on the Melmetal, you know, as you do. And with the Intimidate, you know, it's like not gonna be doing much. You see, the first hit's only doing 32, and the next hit did 68. Yeah, yeah, that did just happen. Well, you know, my Mawile, which I needed for, I don't know, Pinsir and Dragapult, and literally everything on his team, yeah, it's gone. Yeah. So, you know, in 2 turns, I basically lost the main things I needed on my team. And yeah. Spoiler alert. Like, okay, no, I'm not going to say anything now. But yeah. I literally needed all those mons. And then I lost them because of bullshit. Okay, yeah, well, no, okay, I didn't lose the Entei because of bullshit. To be fair. That was, you know what, he made the right play there. I was just being dumb. I did, you know, I lost the ball for no fucking reason. Like, it was... Anyway. Bulu comes out. I'm just going for CC. I'm like, what the fuck, I have to get something at this point. Of course, he switches out like a douchebag. You know, don't you know that if you hack someone, you have to lose the mon that you hacked with? It's literally common courtesy. I can't believe that. Anyway, I go for CC. He turns out to be Rocky Helmet. Fun. Yeah, I go to Slowking here as he goes for the Toxic. Whatever. I'm just like, I was thinking about Iron Defensive here, but like he could go Melmetal, so I was like, probably not the best idea. So I actually go into Zygarde, I think. Yeah, I go Zygarde as he goes Pinsir. Pinsir was an interesting play. I don't know. If I go for Iron Defense there, like, I would kind of 1v1 Pinsir actually a little bit. But, well, assuming I get through Paralysis, which given the course of the game, you know, probably wouldn't have actually. But, you know, whatever, it's fine. He goes to Swords Dance, I go for Coil, you know, all the standard stuff. He goes for the Mega Evolution this turn, goes with Body Slam, does quite a bit of damage. I'm just going for a Scale Shot here. At this point, I kind of just need to get... I just need to do something because I'm very, very far behind. Due to only my mistakes. Yeah, only mine. Anyway, he goes into Hatterene here on the Scale Shot. Good play. I was thinking about 1,000 Arrowings here because I was like, fuck it, I need to get some. I need to get something. Or Coiling again. I decide to be safer and go Slowking, and he decides to pull the Melmetal switch in, which I guess good for him that I didn't act on my impulse there. But yeah, so now I basically have to lose another Mon unless I can break through. No, I don't. Of course I don't. Why would I break through? That makes no sense. Anyway, I die there. Fun. Go back into Bulu here. I'm like, maybe he'll stay in again. Nope, he just goes for the Arcanine. Yeah, I'm just like, whatever. I'm just gonna go for Swords Dance and kill this thing with Stone Edge. There's no way he's gonna click Flamethrower this turn, because he wants to Toxic that Zygarde. So yeah, exactly what I said happens. So Swords Dance on Toxic, and then I just go for Stone Edge to kill the Arcanine, and then Pinsir comes in, quick attacks me, and guess what? The game is over because I can't do anything against this thing. In all fairness, I should have gone. 100% should have gone to Zygarde here, but I was really triggered at this point in the game, and it's not like even if I went Zygarde here, I wouldn't have been able to win anyways. Because Hatterene's at like 100%. all his Pinsir would have had to do is spam Body Slam and Quick Attack and all that. And my Zygarde would have been too low of HP to do anything of consequence, really. So, yeah. Basically, he doesn't... we already frisked the Scarf on his Dragon Ball. So, you know, he basically just didn't need... He just couldn't let me get past +1 on Scale Shot. So, yeah, whatever he sees me go for Scale Shot, he can just go to sack Hatterene and whatever. And, yeah. But yeah, so I'm triggered here, though. I go Wigglytuff for no reason. Because I want him to get Swords Dances. That's why. You know, as you do. Yeah, I don't know. I switch to Zygarde here. Body Slam does 69%, whatever. I get a Scale Shot off, but, you know, now that leaves me in range of Quick Attack because of the defense drop, and, you know... Yeah, that's the game. It's always fun when your Mawile loses all of its health to... I'm still really triggered, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not happy at all. To be fair, at this point in the season, I have a lot of work in my personal life, and so like me losing was also a blessing in disguise because then now I don't have to worry about this anymore. But at the same time, I didn't want to lose because of literally all the hacks that happened. it, and then I made a lot of stupid mistakes too. It's just not ideal. Um, but yeah, when that happens, there's only one thing left to do. Quit Woods for a season and just take a break, and that's what I'm planning on doing. Okay, no, but like I actually am a little bit burnt out of Mon, so I am not playing for a season, but not because of this. It's not because of this. It's just because I'm in general burnt out. But anyways, we do lose, very unfortunately. At the end of the day, was there anything I could do better? Yes. There's a lot I could do better. Had to keep Entei around for the entire match, so letting that thing die was really, really dumb. Should have just let Token go. Yeah. In terms of other things, will not let Mawile get. Okay, that crit. There's nothing I could do about that crit, really. Because to be fair, I should have let Slowking die, and then I would have had Entei to switch into the Melmetal. So all that stuff is still a thing. So yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, I played that pretty badly, and also the luck did not help at all. So yeah, GG's to Kuda, and I hope the rest of the season goes well. Not for you, but for Jen. Okay, no. But yeah, seriously, good luck with the rest of the matches. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.